Yes, there was also Protestant support for a united Ireland. Episode 149. I am Rod Murphy, and this is Growing Up Poor in Irish Boston, a series of my 1950s era Irish and Boston songs, history, jokes, and stories. And never let the truth interfere with a good story. Some of my podcast episodes have documented events of Irish history. This episode involves the centuries-long continuation of the revolution against Britain during the early years of the 20th century in Ireland. The common opinion is that it was Catholic against Protestant for Ireland's freedom from Britain. Actually, the truth is that there were some brave and thoughtful Protestants on the usually Catholic freedom for Ireland side also. One such Protestant was Reverend James Hamilton Irwin, a Presbyterian clergyman. He was born in Feeney, outside Derry, in 1876 in what is now called Northern Ireland. He was ordained in November 1903 at Killiad Presbyterian Church in County Antrim. He was a supporter of United Ireland, which was nominally a Catholic position. Irwin thought that supporting independence for the Irish state was both Christian and humane. Eamon DeValera was a leader of the Free Ireland efforts. He was also the first Teasoich. During the Plaque and Tan War, the Irish Protestant churches opposed DeValera's successful fundraising efforts in America. The Prods sent a delegation to America in opposition. In response, Reverend Irwin, who supported the cause of Irish freedom, offered himself as a spokesman to go to America to illustrate that it was not solely the Catholic population of Ireland who favored independence. He traveled to the USA starting in 1920 to passionately present the case for Irish Protestants in favor of self-determination for Ireland. In New York, he addressed a crowd of 8,000 people. The venue was packed to capacity, and afterwards he addressed a crowd of many thousands outside. Irwin also spoke at similar meetings at Chicago, Boston, and other large American cities. He then agreed to team up with DeValera on a tour of the southern states and Canada. At one meeting, he addressed an audience predominantly of Orange Order members. According to a report of Reverend Irwin's speaking tour in an American paper, quote, wild outbursts of enthusiasms welcomed Reverend Dr. Irwin, the Protestant delegate from Antrim, whose scholarly oration voices the brain in the hand of intellectual Ulster. The Philadelphia Irish Press stated that Dr. Irwin emphasized that if Britain would withdraw her present army occupation from Ireland, not one hair upon the head of a man, woman, or child would be injured in any part of Ireland. He strongly denounced the oppression and the cruelty of the present reign of terror and said he had traveled these thousands of miles not in the cause of humanity alone, but in the cause of Christianity. When he returned home in January 1921, Reverend Irwin discovered that the local Unionist leaders had stirred up his congregation against him. Many parishioners left his church, and his salary was cut by half. But most members of his congregation remained loyal and faithful. Dáil Éireann, the Irish Parliament, later presented him with a silver tray in recognition of his services in America and Canada to the cause of Ireland. His home in Killiad was subsequently raided and evidence was planted. Supposedly guns and ammunition were discovered along with an Irish volunteer badge. It caused a sensation and soon hit the headlines. According to the Fermanagh Herald, the haul included a farmer's gun for which there was no ammunition and a revolver which would not revolve, with ammunition that would not fit it. Reverend Irwin was arrested and taken to Crumlin Road Jail. He was found guilty and sentenced to 2 years in prison, reduced to 1. The press on both sides of the Atlantic led with the arrest of Irwin, an Antrim Presbyterian minister, the first since 1798. Telegrams began to pour into the British government and the press from USA. Under mounting pressure, Reverend Irwin was released from the Crumlin jail 2 weeks into his sentence. At the Irish Race Conference in Paris in January 1922, he was elected honorary treasurer of the Central Committee. Attempts to drive him out of the ministry had failed miserably. He continued his ministry at Gilead until 1926, when he transferred to St. Michael's Parish in Edinburgh. In 1928, he moved to St. Thomas Church in Leith. Reverend Irwin's love of Ireland was still strong, and in 1935, he relocated to Ducan County, Dublin, where he was minister until his death in 1954. My take on this historical fact is that as Catholic Hibernians should acknowledge and be thankful for other Christian support for Free Ireland historically. This is Rod Murphy. Thank you for viewing or listening to my YouTube and podcast episodes. I really appreciate it. If you enjoy them, please hit the subscribe button. It does not cost you anything, and it helps me to grow my audience. Again, my thanks. Note, some of my viewers and listeners have asked how they could comment on my episodes. There is a note at the top of each episode. It's called Send Us a Text. Click that, and you would be able to comment. Also, former redhead at protonmail.com is my podcast email if you would like to contact me. So it's former redhead, I used to have red hair, former redhead at proton, P-R-O-T-O-N, mail.com is my podcast email. Thank you. I think most of my viewers and listeners like my Irish song series. This one is another. Hope you enjoy it. Episode 124, Irish Songs and Song for Ireland, and the rest of the story. Song for Ireland was written by Phil Caldclough, an Englishman who lived in the beautiful west of Ireland. It was first recorded in 1977. It is an Irish classic. The lyrics remember those who left Ireland and the memories they left behind. I love the lyric references to the town of Dingle and the fishing mentions of Galway salmon and Atlantic bass. I love County Kerry's wonderful music town, Dingle, and I am a deranged fisherman. Growing up at the Murphys meant that at our many family parties, every kid was expected to sing a particular Irish song, such as Bully Vogue, Red is the Rose, Danny Boy, Black Velvet Band, The Bard of Armagh, etc. My song was Kevin Barry, which I think is the best rebel song. Paul Harvey, a well-known radio journalist, used "And Now You Know the Rest of the Story" to end his 1970s show. His show was very popular and featured short, compelling narratives, often ending with a twist. I am stealing his good idea, the rest of the story. The Song for Ireland tells the story of a young man who leaves his Irish home and travels the world, but finds that no matter where he goes, he can't escape the memories of his beautiful homeland and of the people he left behind. The lyrics describe the beauty, the charm, and the shtick of Ireland, and the singer's longing to return home. The song's emotion and melody makes it a favorite among audiences of all types and ages. Since its release, Song for Ireland has been recorded by many, including the Irish folk group the Dubliners, but my favorite is the great Luke Kelly. As I said, it has become a classic in the Irish music scene. The song is a symbol of Irish immigration and the longing for home, even among those of us born in the USA. It is a staple at Irish events and fesciana gatherings around the world and is often performed at weddings and funerals. My singing will win no prizes, but here it goes. Song for Ireland. Walking all the day near tall towers where falcons build their nest. Silver winged they fly, they know the call of freedom in their breast. Saw a black head against the sky, where twisted rocks they run to the sea. Living on your western shore, saw summer sunset, asked for more. I stood by your Atlantic sea and sang a song for Ireland. Drinking all the day in old pubs where fiddlers love to play. Someone touched the bow, he played a reel, it seemed so grand and gay. Stood on Dingle Beach, cast until the wild foam found Atlantic bass. Living on your western shore, saw summer sunset, asked for more. I stood by your Atlantic sea and sang a song for Ireland. Talking all the day with true friends who try to make you stay, telling jokes and news, singing songs, whiling the night away. Watch the Galway salmon run like silver dancing, darting in the sun. Living on your western shore, saw summer sunset, asked for more. I stood by your Atlantic sea and sang a song for our land, and sang a song for our land. This is Rod Murphy. Thank you for viewing or listening to my YouTube and podcast episodes. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed them, please hit the subscribe button. It does not cost anything, and it helps me to grow my audience. Again, my thanks.